Hi everyone, I'm Deanne from Newfoundland, Canada. Welcome to my FlossTube channel, Stitching on the Rock. We are at episode 41. Hello! If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you hit the subscribe button. I'd love for you to stick around and watch me. If you're coming back, I'm so glad to see you again. Happy Labor Day to everyone. It's the last long weekend we have here. The end of summer, I guess, which is sad. Weather here has been pretty good. You know, we got the end of Franklin. I think that was Hurricane Franklin. Well, it was kind of a tropical depression. Ugh. By the time it hit us, but we had 2 days of rain, which my lawn needs to be mowed. I just haven't gotten around to it. My sister and her husband are in Florida. They went, gosh, I think it'll be 2 weeks on Friday. They were down, but they spent like 3 nights in the Kissimmee, Orlando area, and then they went to St. Pete's, and they were going to spend 4 or 5 nights there, and they were there one night, and they got mandatory evacuated or recommended evacuated because of the hurricane. Tina? I can't remember the name. It started with an I. And so they ended up having to spend the whole time that they were down there in Kissimmee. They're not Disney people. They were just going for vacation because both my nephews were home this summer and they both have little kids. So my sister said when they all go back to Alberta, I want a vacation. She's not having any luck finding me any radon, which is sad. Let's see, what else? Well, I'm back to Mondays. For those of you who don't know, during the summer I was doing my videos every other Sunday. But when my son goes back to school, I said I moved to Monday because he's not in school today, but he's with my mom. We changed internet providers and TV providers today. And they came in to switch the equipment, and I knew I would be Wi-Fi free, and he was coming after lunch. But then he knocked on my door at 10 o'clock, said he was around the corner doing a job, so he came here. So Aaron had to sit and wait for the internet to be hooked up, because Mom didn't come till after lunch to get him. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything that's going on. He goes back Wednesday. I think I said that on the last video. They're only there for like an hour and a half on Wednesday, and then classes start Thursday. And that's how they do it at his high school. Life has been not so great the last couple of weeks, but I'm not going to share that online. Nothing health-wise or anything like that, just an issue that's kind of made me start a project 2 hours later, say I can't work on that anymore, and start another project. So this episode is going to be called All About the Full Coverage. In September, I decided last year I wanted to do some smalls, so I was calling it September Smalls. So I was going to take a month break from my full coverage. So I spent the last 2 weeks stitching on, well, all of them except for 2. So lots to share today. So let's get going, I guess. I've got how many stitches I stitched, what fabric they're on, so I'm going to be checking notes back and forth as I share, because I want to make sure you guys get all the information. I also am going to be lazy and not stick in pictures, so I have all the mock-ups here, so we'll do this. First up is Mini Sunflower by Marion Broom. They're all Heaven and Earth design projects. This is what I'm sort of calling a focus this year, although I'm not spending a set amount of time every day or every week. It's just when this rolls up on my wheel, I spend more time on it than I usually spend on projects. So this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. Excuse me. Inhaled when I should have exhaled. I am stitching this 1/1 on 25 count daffodil. I did 883 stitches, and I am now at 35.83%, and my goal is to get to 50% by the end of the year. Hopefully I can do that. I probably can if I just, like, instead of stitching 400 stitches on it. I stitch 600 stitches on it when it comes up. But I'm not that disciplined. Here is where we are. I can't really tell you what I stitched on. I stitched all over the place with it. I know I stitched, there's 2 little bits of black down at the bottom here and like in the middle of the flower. I stitched on that. I stitched some of the green over on the right hand side, you know, and whatever color has the most stitches, I stitch that until I get to a point where I really have to count to figure out where it goes next, and then I move on to the next color. And that's how I'm doing a lot of my projects. Next up, I stitched on Warm at Home by Irina Gamashov. I hope I pronounced that right. This one, which is my black and white project of my kitty, because we have a kitty, for those of you who haven't watched before, and she's every color under the sun. So finding a design that suits her is not easy, so I picked a black and white. Silly me. So this is stitched 1/1 on 28 count ivory. I stitched 524 stitches and I'm at 3.25%. And I'm doing this one diagonally. I do a lot of my projects diagonally. Either, well, you can see the sunflower kind of started out diagonally and then it kind of went cross country, and then it's, so here's where we are. So the light that I'm coming down into, I need another hand when I have to do these videos. This lighter part that's coming down here, hopefully you can see, I believe is starting to get into right here with the lighter part there. So it's a project that you won't know that you've like stitched a paw or a nose or anything or an ear until you take it and look for like 2 feet away from it where it's all the same colors. But I'm actually not having, you know, too much trouble. We'll see how it goes the further I get into it. Next up is Mini Hometown Hero Baseball by Donna Gelsinger. And this was one, I'm not sure if it was the last video or the video before that I said I was kind of struggling with it. And I know why. It's because the jersey, which is what I'm on, it's all like ivory and white and not my favorite. Once I get past that there and into this part over here, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But right now I'm struggling. So it's stitched 1/1 on Sapphire Blue, 28 count, and I did 524 stitches. I'm at wrong one. Excuse me. I did 360 stitches and I'm at 4.85%. Free reading, Warm at Home. And this is where we are. And like I said, the shirt is a struggle. Doing the star and the all-star word and that was fun. It's the colors of the shirt. And once I get past that, I'm sure it will pick up and I will have more fun. Next, I worked on River's Edge, which is by Kevin Daniel. Sorry, I was just like, did I tell him what to line? Yeah, I did. River's Edge is right here. This, which is for my son. For those of you who don't know, my son is 16. He has autism and he has ADHD, and he tends to pick a topic and then learn everything there is to know about that topic. If you know kids on the spectrum, that's quite common. Right now, or in the last couple of years, ducks have been a big thing. The London Underground was another big one recently. Space was a big one at one time. Weather is a big one. You know, there's probably been a couple others. Elevators are a big one. So this one is for him, and my attempt to get it done before ducks no longer become a big information thing. And like I said, a duck is a duck, but now I can tell you that these are all mallards. You know, which ones are male, which ones are female, you know, and there's 10 different species that I now know everything I needed to know and didn't know I needed to know about ducks. So this one is done 1/1 on lichen gray. I did 597 stitches. I'm at 7.18%. And this one I'm doing extreme cross country. So I have one color done, or almost done. There's a few random stitches in an area that has no other stitches around it right now, so I left those, and then I've moved on to the second color, and this is where we are. It's this is the first time I've ever done a real extreme cross country, and I actually didn't mind it, especially because the first color had lots. You know, it's I would never do it if there was like a section up here and a section down there, and that was the only way to get that color in. But like there was, let me open it up so you can see like it, and the few random stitches are woolly over here. So when I get another color over there, I'll just pop them in. Got less than 100 stitches left in that color. And then the second color, which you probably cannot see much of, is that white. So I've started stitching, I think, down here. Then I did worked on Mini Almost Winter by Leonid Afremov. And this is done 1/1 on 28 count Star Sapphire. I did 402 stitches, and I'm at 4.77%. And it is this one. I have his, like, there's several designs of his that are kind of that similar but different coloring. So this is one I should be working on now in September, but September is September smalls for me, because I've done mostly big projects, and I decided I wanted to do some small things, so I picked September because I love fall and Halloween stitching. So, and although I do have a winter and a Christmas, I think, picked out for this month as well if I get to them. So this is where we are. I'm kind of doing this one extreme cross country as well, but let's get the thread out of the way. Black is it's the color in the trees, so I don't know if I'd call it an extreme cross country or not, because it's all in one spot. So I've got the first tree all done, working on the second tree. 310, lots and lots. 310. And that is that one. Next, I worked on a quick stitch Pride and Prejudice by Amy Stewart, and this is part of the I think it's Heroes and Heroines is the big piece is called, and it's got Anthony and Cleopatra and Elizabeth and Darcy, and it's got Anne and Gilbert, and it's got Romeo and Juliet and several others. So this is just part of it, and I also have the Anne of Green Gables one that I started and I had to restart it, which I haven't done yet. So it's this one. And I don't think I told you that it's done 1/1 on 28 count ice blue, and I did 351 stitches, and I'm at 8.85%. And this one I did diagonally, and I'm almost to the full diagonal of the project, and then I came back up. I don't know why I stopped. I just did. I came back up to the top again. So this is where we are. And so this, oh, and like I said, I need another hand. Let's try this. Oh, this, can you see it? It's almost the bottom of the diagonal, but I just stopped. And I came back up and started filling in the next diagonal. I really have to go down and finish it. Oh, there we are. I absolutely love this, and I really could stay and just stitch on this, but if I did that, then none of my other projects would get any work. So once Sunflower gets to its 50%, I might switch and get this one to 50%, because it's one of my favorite, and it's my favorite book. And Anne of Green Gables is my favorite book of my childhood, so I guess they kind of both are my favorite books. Next up, I did Grand Slam by Stephen Paul Carlson, which is this, another baseball. Can you tell I'm a baseball fan? This is an interesting one. The colors are not what I would think for baseball, but I'm pushing through it. It's done 1/1 on 28 count lemon, which I know is an odd color to be stitching a full coverage, but it was in my stash forever, and I hate yellow. Yellow is my least favorite color in the whole wide world, so I just wanted to use this piece of fabric to get it out of the way. So I did 315 stitches. I'm at 0.95%. I started this in May for May is all about me, as I call it, because my birthday and Mother's Day are both in May, in the same week usually. So I said I don't get like 2 days at 2 different times. Like my son's dad, his birthday's in February and Father's Day in June, so he gets 2 days, and I kind of, Mother's Day and my birthday kind of blend together, so I make the whole month about me. And I started 5 new full coverages, I think it was, one for each week of May, and this was the last week, which was only like 3 days, so I haven't gotten much done with it. That's the top left corner, which doesn't show a whole lot. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing it that way. I need to do it this way so you guys can see it better. And that's what I've gotten done. And they're like, it's like 950, 951, 37, 13, just odd colors for a baseball project. And my final full coverage was Queen of Hearts by Rachel Anderson, which was my birthday start in 2022. I love this design, but holy crap, it's gonna take me the rest of my life and probably then some to finish it. But I hit the 1% this time. I did, it stitched 1/1 on 28 count Dahlia. I stitched 224 stitches, and I'm at 1.03%. And it's staying on the Q-snap. There it is. So I was doing, I guess, extreme cross country on it with the black 310, but there's like over 70,000 stitches in 310. There are over 80,000 stitches in 814, and I just was getting nowhere with it fast, with just stitching the black. It's not the same as the trees, and it's not the same as Warm at Home, because I'm doing it diagonally. So I changed my mind and decided to hit diagonal. So I don't know that you can even see. Well, yeah, maybe you can. The here, the 814 I filled in, and the 154. Yeah. Hang on, I'm got the TV on to make sure that I'm centered in the screen, and I keep looking at the TV, and I'm sorry I gotta stop doing that to try and get it so that you guys can see the colors here. So I've started just to throw in some 154 and 814, so at least it's not all black. And that is all of the full coverage. Oops, sorry, hit the table. That I have done in the last 2 weeks. Then September hit, and like I said, I put that stuff away, although I may have to drag it out. I'm in a Facebook group that is looking for it's stitching on different projects, so I may be pulling some of them out to stitch a little bit on during September, just to do my goals, I guess is what I would call it for that group. But it's smalls, and my deeming of smalls was less than 100 by 100. So I had a few whips from last year that I didn't get finished, so I pulled out the first one, which is from Cross Stitch Halloween collection, and it's 2011. I've done several projects from this for my smalls, and the one I was working on, I pulled out to work on first, is called A Spirited Mandala. It's by Ink Circles, and I just love it. But I discovered I had a mistake, so I had to pull out half of it, but I've got it all straightened out now, and so that's what I did on the first, and part of the second was pull it out and then restitch. And I'm stitching it on an unknown hand-dyed opalescent with Frin and Nettles, and it's called Belle Island Ore. Belle Island is a little island just off St. John's, and their main industry was iron ore mining. Of course, it's all shut down now, and you can actually go over and take a ferry over from Portugal Cove, which is part of the greater St. John's area, and you can actually go and take a tour of the mine, and it's really cool. You can go down underground and everything. So it's Belle Island Ore, which is a mild gray, charcoal gray. So I'm doing 2 strands over 2 on 28 count unidentified orange opalescent, and this is what I've got done. So that's the left side. You can see the first ghost there. So I'm working on that this month. I got a wheel that tells me which one to work on. And then next up my wheel yesterday, or last night, I guess, came up a new start, and I started a freebie by Pinker & Pumpkin Quilting, and it's Sunflower Sampler. Hopefully you guys can see that picture. I just, like I said, started last night, and I've got the J, K, L, and part of the P done. But it's tiny, so it'll turn into a little pillow. So I'm going to sit down and finish that up today. And that's all the stitching I've been doing. Like I said, I feel like I've been flitting here, flitting there, and I feel like I'm doing that with this video too. And the haul. The only thing I have for haul is a month or so ago, I ordered from Embroidery Marketplace in Edmonton 3 pieces of small cuts of fabric, and one of them wasn't there, so they sent it to me, and it's called Light Ash Gray Lugana. And I'm actually kind of on a haul freeze, a spending freeze, at least when it comes to patterns. Like if I need a thread here or there, or I pick up a pattern from my stash, and I don't have a piece of fabric. If I can get it at Michael's, you know, that's not on the freeze. But Aaron and I are going on holiday in summer, and I kind of have to cut down on my shopping just a little bit. So, but I've got tons of stash, and I've got tons of freebies that I really want to stitch and all of that. So that's kind of where my stitching is going to be going. Plans. Oh, September's WIP Go. Number 1 and number 15 were called. Number 1 was my first signs of spring, which I finished. So I have Strawberry Harvest. That's the next one in the series that I'm working on. So I'll spend my 3 days on that, probably at the end of the month. And number 15 was Happy Halloween, which it was one of my smalls from last year that I didn't get finished. So the 3 days, that works out for this month. Other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot going on. I'm terribly behind in watching everybody's FlossTube channels, all my regulars. Sorry if you watch mine. I will catch up over the winter because I don't go out a whole lot in the winter. It's too cold. I think that's everything for 2 weeks. I'll see you guys. Happy stitching.